The technique of the day is sword destruction, and this is against a left roundhouse punch, okay? So the first technique that we did was the lay sword. The second technique was a push alternating mace, and now this is the first punch technique in yellow belt against the punch, which is sword destruction. So this would be a left roundhouse punch. So, again, in the street, the thing that we need to keep in mind is that we can get hit two ways. We can either get hit by accident, or we can get hit intentional. Now, in this case, when he's throwing the punch, he intentionally wants to punch me in the face. So if I'm not careful where I block, I can still get hit, okay? So what we want to be able to do is this. When he is throwing the punch, and I'm blocking on the inside of the arm, I want to be able to basically block below the elbow. Because if I block either at the elbow or above it, his arm can bend and I can still get hit. If I'm blocking on the outside, I want to be able to either block at the elbow or above it. Because like, let's say he throws a right punch. See, I want to block here because now if he bends his arm, you know, I'm still checking the arm. But let's say I was blocking the punch and I was blocking below the elbow, is that the arm can bend and I can still get hit with the elbow. Likewise, in this technique, when I'm blocking on the inside, if I go a little bit too high on the block, you know, and block at his bicep, his arm can bend and I can get hit with his fingers right across the eyes by accident. So I want to be sure that when I'm blocking, I block below the elbow. So what we're doing in the technique is this. Right as he's coming in with a roundhouse punch, I do go through an extended outward block, and I want to be able to create distance. So this way, especially at the beginning level, it's safer to step back than to step forward. If you step forward, you're more likely to run into the punch. So we take a step back, we do an extended outward block, I go into a ball kick, and then I go right into the hinge sword. And right from here, I look straight to the front to scan 180 degrees, just to be sure that nothing's behind me. If nothing's behind me, then I can finish the step here. And then right from here, I take the other step, and I can scan the other 180 degrees. Now I have scanned 360 degrees, and I have created more distance between me and the opponent, okay? So I'll demonstrate one more time. So when man comes in with a punch, so yeah, block, kick, hand sword, and then from there cover up, okay? And then fighting. See? And that would be the technique sword destruction, okay? Okay, so that was the technique sword destruction. One important thing that we need to keep in mind is that when you practice the technique, ideally the technique, we practice it when the opponent's punching from 12 o'clock. But it's also, I think, just as important, you know, once you get good with this technique, is to be able to practice these techniques at different angles. In other words, the person that's doing the technique can be facing 12, then instead of having the attacker coming in from 12 o'clock, he comes in at 1:30. Then you cover out basically to 7:30. Then later on, you can have the same technique where we can go right ahead and do the technique now from 3 o'clock. Because, you know, if you really think about it, we really don't have any punch techniques. Not till we get to green belt, you know, that we start doing techniques of 3 o'clock. So it's always good that even the beginning techniques, we can practice them on this angle. Then later on, we can even start practicing the same technique, punching from, basically the opponent punching from 4:30, okay? And when somebody's punching from 4:30, now you basically have to listen to your sense of hearing, because now your hearing would be basically what we call the eyes of darkness would be your ears, you know. So it's important to practice them at those angles, okay? And remember that when you practice techniques, you know, especially when we're doing these techniques in the streets, we do not want to hesitate. Because as Mr. Parker would say, he who hesitates meditates in a horizontal position. Have a good day. Thank you.